You need to chill the fork out.
Holy forking shirt.
I forking knew it. Oh, you gotta be forking kidding me.
Holy mother forking shirt balls.
Hello, Music Multiverse listeners. It's time at Beyond Your Radio for Panelists' favorite show. And again, we're back to the list, and we're at the alphabet. Well, let's not get there. We did E 2 weeks ago, and we had Echo and the Bunnymen. We had Steve Earle. We had Ellington to Eminem. We had Eagles to Elbow. We had Everclear and Estefan, and that was enough to raise an electric flag or two. Go check that out. It was pretty clear what Steve Scouten doesn't like. Today is brought to you by the letter F. That's right. What's the frequency, Kenneth? Whose fretboard reigned supreme? Who was firm, front line, and feeding the frenzy to our faithful ears? And who faded away to honorable mentions? Let's see how our fabulous, fun, and foreseeable panelists are tonight. Were they predictable? Let's see what's going on. He's a Four Roses, the bourbon guy. Grateful dude.
Stuff.
He never frets, Jeff Crichton. He loves a good fade in, but never fades out, Ray Geska. He catches a lot of flack, files sometimes, Jeff Young. And he's always falsetto, Alex Kalisny.
I got nothing after that.
And away we go. What everybody will do is give their let's see, how do we do this? We just five and then around, 4 and then around, 3 and then around, 2 and around, right?
Yeah.
All righty then. Let's kick it off. Let's go with the Grateful Dude number 5.
You know, you always pick me. I don't know why.
Because you're always to the right of me in the vision thing, and I'm a rightist. Because I don't want to be wrong like Alex.
Okay. All my bands are short and sweet. Number 5 is Freddie and the Dreamers.
Wow.
That's an old one.
But that's all you do is your number 5. That's it. Then we'll go around. Okay.
You just say that?
Yeah, and you can talk about them, but I just didn't want you to go to number 4 or number 3 or number 2.
No. I've been here. I've done this before. Okay.
Yeah.
Rodeo.
Yeah. He's telling you now. Freddie and the Dreamers. He's telling you now.
Freddie and the Dreamers. How many
They were
albums?
an English beat band.
Yes.
Who started in 61, 62, played through 65. They had a short career. They were your typical Beatles type band. They were known for the enlivened comedy of Freddie Garrity, who would bounce around the stage with his arms and flap his arms and legs. He was bizarre.
What would be the song I would be aware of?
I'm telling you now.
That's what I thought you were going for there.
That's what I was going to say. But
Very British.
Yes. Was that very British? Is that?
Yeah. They put out 2 albums. That's it.
That's it. Was that kind of stuff? Those bands, because a lot of them, they were all short lived, right? They
were part of the British invasion. So
yeah.
All right.
Made their mark and left.
Alex, number 5.
Oh, well, I can't believe this band even cracks my top 5 of a favorites list, but of the Fs I've listened to the most, they snuck onto the list, and I guess it's March Madness, so we're guaranteed to get an upset or 2 somewhere. I'm going to go with a band that surprisingly, they're hit or miss. They don't suck.
That's good. That your top 5 is the one that doesn't suck.
I know. I struggle with this letter, but I'm going to go with Five Finger Death Punch.
Okay.
They've got some solid hard rock songs in there and some good bluesy sounding covers. They've caught me by surprise occasionally, and they got a very distinct sound vocally where I can tell it's them almost immediately. So yeah, I don't know. I like them, but they're never someone I seek out. They just kind of, I hear something and I go, I should probably check that out again. I didn't realize they had anything new. Like, just, I don't know. They blend in a lot more than stand out to me, but good enough to make the list.
I thought I was going to be like when I saw those albums and I had to put one on, and I thought I was going to be like, oh, this is going to just be too much metal, and no,
Yeah.
it was interesting. They didn't just go through the motions, and that double album of theirs was ridiculously good.
Yeah, I don't find them to be doing anything
Inventive,
earth-shattering or different than anything maybe we've heard before, but they do it pretty well and good enough to enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a complete copycat or anything, like it's good.
Well, and it's like they're one of those bands that they're a big draw. They're big enough to say, wow, they played here, but then they're also like small enough in excitement that you're like, oh, they're here. Yeah, still not gonna go see them.
Yeah, I might have to go just to see. Yeah. Speaking of things that are better than average, Jeff Young.
Thank you. We'll let that sink in. So I'm gonna pick Filter. So do have a brief connection to Nine Inch Nails. Frontman Richard Patrick was the first touring guitarist with Nine Inch Nails, then left to do his own thing. He, of course, has a famous brother that was in Terminator 2 as the T-1000 Terminator. And, their music is, it's very 90s, kind of rock industrial. They got some slower ballady stuff too across their, they don't have a lot of albums, but the ones they do are decent. They're pretty good live. I don't know if they still hold up today, but just because of their style, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those, especially the first couple albums, and having some of their tracks in, movies at the same time. They've been in like Crow City of Angels and Spawn, and they've been in X-Files. They definitely have a connection to X-Files because they had a couple tracks in the show and in the movie, and then going back to the show, his actor brother wound up joining the show. So I don't know, just they're always kind of around. I always kind of heard them and always liked them. So just because I had so much experience with Filter, that's what I put them at number 5.
Okay, Ray.
All right. Well, I'm kind of looking to get back on the horse after a poor showing last week, and the 97 rankings wasn't my favorite. It kind of felt like faltered, but time to get back on it today. After reviewing the candidates, I kind of found that my picks became pretty predictable. I was hoping I could, be flashy and different, but the choices didn't really move the needle for me. So I'm really sticking to the classics from the first few decades of the rock era. So here's my list. Number 5. This group has sold an estimated 100 million records and are one of the best-selling musical groups of all time. All Italian-American New Jersey natives. Early in their career, they actually failed an audition that was held at a bowling alley. And what did they do? They took the name of the bowling alley as the name for their group. Their stylings, well, they're a mix of vocal techniques, some songwriting, and production choices that make them instantly recognizable. They also had a musical based on them called The Jersey Boys. Ladies and gentlemen, led by Frankie Valli, they are the Four Seasons.
Excellent choice.
I've
Four
stayed at their
Seasons
hotel before.
and the Four Tops are coming together to Clearwater.
Yeah.
Is it going to be an 8-hour show?
Well, I think Frankie and Bob Gaudio from the Four Seasons are the only two amongst both of those groups that are
still alive.
Yeah.
All 4 of the tops are gone, but should still be fun. Are you going to that?
I don't think so.
Death Punch is opening for him, right?
What's that? I think it's a kind of a pricey ticket, but I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Who was it that you said was opening for him?
Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd go to see the Four Seasons, but I'll stay at their hotel.
Those are gone, aren't they?
Yeah.
No,
No, they're not.
oh no, they're I can't even afford them. Okay, let's put it that way.
Oh, okay.
You said that with a confidence like you have points built up that you're afraid will go to waste.
I probably do.
Oh, Jeff Crichton and his lovely background. That's fantastic. He's out there just in the cold of the Northern Lights.
Oh, he's out there, all right.
Oh yeah. Should I do my 20 honorable mentions
He had
first?
20. That's not bad.
That's not bad. Number 5 is a band that started across the pond in 1968, and by 1970, they had one of the better songs of that year, and of that an album of the ilk as well, called Fire and Water. This band was around before Bad Company, and their lead singer is where this band got started. But my number 5 is Paul Rogers, along with Simon Kirke. The two of them, they went to form Bad Company. The late great, their late great guitar player, Paul Kossoff, who after Free broke up a year later, he had a brain hemorrhage and died. But he's the guy that's got the riff in All Right Now.
Yeah.
And so my number 5 artist is Free.
Excellent choice. I got a feeling that that's going to be a mention many times today. My number 5 is an odd psychedelia like no other. Infectious. It flows kind of through you. It almost becomes a jam session in their live perpetuity, but their signature is like no other. It's undeniable and completely flexible to whatever mood, odd time signatures, even orchestration that's included, sometimes experimental waves of music, and crazy ass conceptual, lyrical, and sound flow. Wayne Michael Coyne, and his vocal is tremendously recognizable beyond maybe anyone in the industry in that vein. And this, of course, is the Flaming Lips.
Excellent.
And there are a couple out, when you get into a Flaming Lips album, sometimes you don't know what you're in for. They
very true.
It takes some time. It's a couple of those albums are almost like Bitches Brew in a way. And I love that about that band and its unpredictability. And Yo Shimmy Battles the Pink Robots was one of my really cool moments where I finally wow, this band is more than what I remember. And then they had that, what is it? Zahina?
Yeah.
It's 5. Is it 4 discs, 5 discs or whatever?
4.
4.
You got to play them at the same time.
How the hell am I going to do that?
You have to have 4 units.
I know. It's just one of these days I'm going to interview that guy and go, okay, send me 4. Come on, man. I bought it thinking they were 4 CDs.
I did it. It was cool.
You did it? Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. I still have the album. I still have the CD in my collection.
Yeah.
I brought out 2 cars and two boom boxes and did it.
How did it, everybody at the same? So was Ray there? Did he have to press play on one? And
no, Ray. It was great.
You guys make this sound like trying to sync up a drive-through movie.
Yeah, it was something. I didn't understand it at the time. I'm like, wow. I kept putting it in. I go, it's the same freaking song. What the hell? Took me a minute.
It was a brilliant concept that didn't explode.
No, it certainly didn't. It wasn't that expensive though. I mean, it could have been big money, but anyway. Back to the Grateful Dude, number 4.
Number 4. Well, my band goes back to the 50s, 1953 to be exact. They were one of the Kickstarters of Motown. But they didn't start out as a name we would recognize. They started out as the Four Ames. And then when they were getting more confident about who they were and what they were doing, they changed it to Four Tops. The Four Tops were a fabulous band. My sister, who was in the Motown, played them every 3.5 minutes. They did songs like Can't Help Myself, Reach Out, I'll Be There, Baby, I Need Your Lovin', and it's the same old song. And they were fabulous for their time. Since I'm old and partially bald, I like that kind of music. And they were a good band. What can I say? They were a very good band.
Here.
Yep. Amen.
Well, I mean, how can you name your band the Four Bottoms? I mean, that's a different kind of music altogether.
Different band, different day.
Yeah.
That was San Francisco.
Yes. Portland, Oregon. No, Alex, keep going.
My number 4 is another one that surprised me that I would get it to make it here, but I really had to start thinking about this band a little bit more as I was putting him here, because I said Five Finger Death Punch snuck up on me for how much I like them. This band consciously snuck up on me to where I was noticing more and more as I kept adding them to my playlist. I go, oh my, I've got a lot of these guys. And I'm not a huge fan of political music. And they tend to dabble in that field a good amount. And again, I know this is probably not landing on anyone's consideration on this panel. But we're going to go with another hard rock artist. I don't think they're quite metal, but they thrash pretty good. I'm going to go with the Fever 333.
Wow.
I feel like after all of your entries on the list, there should be a question mark.
The disclaimer.
You know what? As I say them, I kind of feel that way. But honestly, I didn't think this band.
I already forgot their name. What was their name?
Fever 333.
So like you were like, I'm picking Fever 333.
But admittedly, like as I thought about my list, I kind of hit my first 2 right off the bat, and then I'm thinking, all right, who can make it as like definitively a 3 through 5 type band? And I didn't know that this band, I threw them on the list. And as I kind of my list kept shrinking, I go, they're still sitting there making it. And they're definitely catchy, groovy. Love them, especially instrumentally. They've got a unique sound that way. I had to put them on there. They deserved it for me.
So I can hear you like going, you said, okay, well, I know my number 1 is Fun Loving is Fine Young Cannibals, and my other one is
I mean, I pretty much had 1 and 2, and I'm like, I knew those were going to be my personal 1 and 2s. So,
Mr. Young, let's see if you can.
Well,
that.
I was going to pick Finger 11, but I'm throwing them off the list.
Oh,
because I just remembered another one that I think deserves some respect. I think they only had like 3 albums, but this is a band created by the former touring bassist of the Cult after the Electric album produced by Rick Rubin. And he worked with Rick Rubin, decided to start playing rhythm guitar, and he started the band called The Four Horsemen.
Yes.
Just straight ahead bar rock.
Yep.
Very
Southern flair.
In the vein of AC/DC, but certainly not AC/DC. Of course, they had the big hits like Nobody Said It Was Easy, Rockin' Is My Business.
Oh, Business is good.
And it's just straight fun music you can listen to anywhere, anytime. Have it for breakfast, have it for your ride to work, have it for road rage, whatever you want. This will fit your day.
Yes, they were on Unknown Sundays. You can check that out if you want to go deeper into the band. They did have a huge catastrophe with them, death-wise and stuff, and they couldn't get things going. Well, no, the one guy went to jail for selling dope or something, I think, or whatever. Just huge problems that never. And Rick Rubin produced that record, and
he put it on his own label too.
Yeah.
Put it on the American label.
They do have one live album, and I didn't know this until I looked it up a second ago because I'd never heard it. But the live album name is Death Before Suckass.
No sparing of words there. Yeah, love that. Love those 2 records.
That's something.
Ray Geska.
All right. So number 4, arena rock power blended with radio-friendly melodies. That's the best way to describe this classic rock act who had enormous success in the late 70s and into the 80s, and finally, and I mean finally, was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recently. They formed in 1976. The band was a mix of American and British members, so they kind of realized that wherever they would go, someone would be foreign in every single place they played, so they came up with the name Foreigner, led by one of the greatest rock voices of all time, from Rochester, New York, of course, the great Lou Gramm, and then Mick Jones, who was quite the guitarist in his own right, and went through so many different phases with the band, even after Lou Gramm had left, but has since taken ill and was unable to be at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction with them. But those first 4 albums specifically were just such great records. I can remember picking up that debut album in 1977, and of course the huge monster album, Foreigner 4, that came out in late '81, that just had hit after hit after hit. I remember being a crazy teenager walking down Bailey Avenue with my boombox, urgent, urgent. Emergency, and there's so many great.
Yeah, my first introduction to them was records.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're just so great. That album was loaded with hits, and the first couple I just played over and over on the albums. Man, they were great. But yeah, Foreigner, number 4.
Foreigner.
My
Nice pick.
favorite
No coincidence.
No.
My favorite Foreigner moment had to be when there was a show called Aqua Teen Hunger Force. There was a bunch of cartoon characters of a rolling meat wad, a floating thing of fries, and a shake that slid on the ground. Weird, trippy, like cartoon that was on Adult Swim. And they had one episode where these villains, they were called the Moonanites, and they're these 2 digital pixels taking over. And every single weapon they used was a weapon that was named after a Foreigner album. Like they had a pair of goggles that shot out this really slow beam that moved like extremely slow, and they go, "We're gonna fill your eyes with double vision." It's like weird, cheesy humor, but everything was. Soon after this touches you, you're gonna be hot-blooded, and I'm just like,
I appreciate that.
it was one of those cheesy episodes that
Dad jokes work really well with cartoons.
Yeah, I couldn't help but laugh because you can't take the show seriously with anything.
No. So Lou Gramm's new album is out tomorrow.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Jeff Crichton.
Well, that's the one I think that right. A lot of the stuff had been done many years ago too, and he's releasing. Yeah, that could be great.
Yeah.
He's coming with. He's going to make a small cameo appearance here with Foreigner, I think, in Clearwater. I don't think he's going to perform a lot of songs. He might perform parts of songs. Right?
Yeah, I had heard something about that he was going to appear, maybe do like 1 or 2. Like I know he loves Jukebox Hero. That was the only one he wanted to do at the induction. But and I think the other guy that had been there a long time too, that Kelly something, he had left the band too. So they're on to probably their 4th lead singer at this point.
Jeff, what do you got it? Oh man, he keeps getting kicked off like a. All right, well, in his absence,
You should go, Mark.
I'll switch this up. So I'm a sucker for off-kilter alternative, riff, mayhem, and a vocal that transcends and can smack you around when necessary or surprise you. And there's no question that Mike Patton is marvelous at this such thing, as in with everything he touches, so to speak, but nothing more fabulous than Angel Dust, King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime, The Real Thing. Truly a band that gets play infinitely in my playlist, and that would be Faith No More.
Here, here.
Yep.
And so
I'm Jeff Young, and I approve of this message.
I approve of it. All right, Jeff, for number 4.
Connection.
I'm gonna be quick. My number 4 would be Sue's number 1, Foo Fighters.
She'll be happy.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. All right.
Move on.
Moving on. Grateful Dude, you're number 3.
Well, I'm just gonna probably just concess all that Ray said. That Foreigner.
Yeah.
I saw them twice. One of the best shows I ever saw was the Stray Cats opening up for them.
Wow. That's a good
Yeah.
opening act.
It was interesting.
Where was that at? Was that in L.A.?
Outside of L.A., Orange County.
Orange County? Cool.
Yeah, very close to Disneyland.
Ah, nice. All right, then Alex.
So I cheated on my number 3s for good reason. Both these bands were introduced to me at the same time. Very much probably of the same genre. Very much coincided multiple times in my growing up, whether it was a burnt CD or a small little MP3 player or anything, that if you skipped one song and went to the other, there's a good chance in those 2 songs you hit one of these 2 bands. Went down the rabbit hole on both at the same time, and they're both Fs. So I thought that was deserving alone that they share the spot.
Okay.
We are going to do Finger 11 and Franz Ferdinand.
Okay. Different places in the on the map, but definitely in the same wheelhouse to some degree.
Very much. The only surprising thing that I learned of these 2 bands over the years, other than my listening habits, was Finger 11 actually did the intro to Kane's WWE entrance at one point.
All right. Yeah. Mr. Young, are you next? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go Sue's number 1 as well with Foo Fighters. And got a couple trivia things here I'll just share. For the first self-titled album, you may or may not know, Dave Grohl wrote and recorded the entire thing, except for one guitar part on track Ecstatic, which was by Greg Dooley of the Afghan Wigs.
Afghan Wigs, yep.
And he picked this, what he called was maybe the stupidest name ever, the Foo Fighters, thinking he would, quote, hide his identity initially, so he wasn't just the guy from Nirvana with a new album. And of course, Foo Fighters is from the World War II term for UFOs. But and before starting Foo Fighters, he considered joining Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yes.
Yep.
As their drummer. Yeah.
Yeah. So almost a heartbreaker, I guess. But Foo Fighters, yeah, I mean, with most bands, they're no different. I prefer a lot of their original, older stuff than their newest stuff, but got a lot of good tracks. So that's why I picked them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a fun YouTube video floating around of Dave Grohl talking to Pharrell Williams, and he's talking about how he stole a lot of his drum influences from Motown.
And that's Pharrell with a PH, by the way, not enough.
Yes.
Yes. Ray.
All righty, well, another one of the historic greats to make the list. They've got mentioned already today, one of the finest vocal groups in the history of music and one of the most commercially successful American pop music groups of the 1960s that helped propel their record label to international fame. The original 4 members stayed together for 4 decades, more than 4 decades, without a change in personnel, which was quite a feat for, anyone not named the Rolling Stones or U2. From Detroit, Michigan, this group inspired generations of vocal groups, and their records resonate throughout the halls of history. You just can't help singing along whenever you hear them. Levi Stubbs Jr. was one of the finest vocalists in pop music history, and Motown Records own the 4 Tops.
Jeff Crichton.
My number 3's, you mentioned them earlier, Mark. Their earlier albums weren't as psychedelic. They were much noisier.
Mm-hmm.
And they recorded all their albums up this way. in a studio in Fredonia, run by Mr. Dave Fridman.
Oh, okay.
And so Wayne and the boys come up here from Oklahoma and have their albums produced outside of Fredonia at Dave Fridman's studio. And Dave's parents used to live behind me, and I would see him every now and then, and we would talk lips. But their first few albums before they got into the psychedelic scene were a bunch of fun noise, and so they've grown over their 40 plus career, and Worthy, the Flaming Lips, and I was blessed enough to work a bunch of those records.
When did you start working those records? Which one? Do you know what? Do you remember which ones?
Oh, my gosh. It was before Jelly. It was before.
Okay.
It was before. It was maybe the album before that.
Okay. So yeah, you did do the old, little bit of the more old. You got in on the noise side.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah. The first time they played here, they played at not the first time. First time I can recollect was in the mid '80s, and they played at a club that's long gone on Main Street, and they used a fog machine where you couldn't even see the band, and the club was so small that it smoked everybody out.
Well, at least they didn't pull a great white.
Yeah.
All right. My number 3, legendary guitarist, morphing, electric, acoustic, expansive works, and all kinds of people are that you would say that would name drop this legend and virtuoso. I got hooked the first time in the album The Intercontinentals. If you don't know, then that's where I would start if I were you. But you've got albums dating back to 1983 and still today. As a matter of fact, last week we reviewed In My Dreams. This is Bill Frisell. He is a magnificent jazz guitarist. Stays in that wheelhouse for the most part, but then there's always a little countryside to it. There can be varieties and differences, and he also loves to explore combinations with musical instruments that might not exactly fit in an ensemble in some cases for jazz. And that was In My Dreams just recently, where he had a violinist come in with him. And I thought that the violin kind of wreaked a little bit of havoc on how he played. So that one was a little bit of a disappointment, but he's normally fantastic. Nashville, all kinds of great albums. He's won multiple Grammy Awards, but he's a Blue Note. And if you're on the Blue Note, you've arrived, and you usually don't get kicked off Blue Note. You usually die on Blue Note. All right, Mr. Grateful Dude, get you number 2.
Yeah, I sure do. My number 2 is a very famous band. I love them for years and years. I've seen them 5 times, I think. I was trying to remember exactly. It's been 5 times, I believe. They're the one and only Foghat.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say Fugazi.
no, they had, well, they're best known for Slow Hand. Slow Ride, I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Slow Hand, Slow Ride. It's okay.
Foghat's going to be here in St. Petersburg with Nazareth.
Oh,
wow!
I was just going to say they are still touring.
Nazareth.
Honey Hush. I want to make you love to you. They did a whole stream of songs. They were a band who didn't know where they were. They were sometimes soft rock, sometimes hard rock, sometimes who knows. They could not stay in their lane.
Didn't want to.
And didn't want.
Yeah. A Tide mentioned the Foo Fighters that their name is mentioned in one of the songs. I want to listen to Foghat.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Foghat from playing Guitar Hero because that's the first song you had to learn to progress into the game
It's true.
from Slow Ride.
Yep.
They talked about their slower stuff too. One great song that got forgotten by them is Third Time Lucky.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Really, really good song by them. You would
Yeah.
never even know it was them. It was such a, like you said, adult contemporary slow song, so.
Sounds like my mantra. Third time lucky. Alex.
Like only this band could do. Create song titles like The Carpal Tunnel of Love. I'm like a lawyer with the way I'm always trying to get you off.
Uh-huh.
This ain't a scene, it's an arms race.
Yeah, I like them.
And more recently on one of their albums, because I was just drawn to the baseball lore of this, the song title was Heaven, Iowa. I've got for number 2, Fall Out Boy, a very influential group of my upbringing. Very different style when you hear some of their older stuff. Like I mentioned, Carpal Tunnel of Love. You don't realize that most of that song is actually Pete Wentz doing unclean heavy metal vocals in part of it. And meanwhile, we know him as the bassist. Definitely parts of that band that shine each other's lights and give each other the spotlight at various times, such as that. But man, every time I hear them come out with an album, I have to listen to see what progression they've come up with as a band, because they definitely have evolved over the years. They've gone from being your Vans Warped Tour punk band to being an arena headliner. So yeah, number 2, Fall Out Boy. That was an easy one for me, and I love adding something to the list that I know is not going to make it on the rest of the panel too. So
I'm surprised it's not on Sue's list because she brought that band to me. I was not interested in that. I kind of
they rock hard, man, but they got some great hooks and
They do.
great,
They really
great
do.
melodies. I enjoyed them. They're one of the better bands of that era for sure.
I saw a weird clip that floated around on Facebook. It was John Taffer talking about things he would do in a restaurant, and his rule was you don't play any new music. You only play stuff that people will recognize. 6 months old is like the soonest he would play a band in his bar. And the first thing I thought of is that little do 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 from Dance Dance being the intro.
Yeah.
Like if I heard that immediately, my feet are like tapping to that.
Did you ever catch? I saw just a few years ago they did an updated version of "We Didn't Start the Fire."
I did hear
Billy
that.
Joel.
Yes.
They did, to catch everyone else up that
They did all the lyrics
1989 and beyond.
Yeah.
I like the song Uma Thurman. She wants to dance like Uma Thurman. It's good.
Speaking of somebody who dances like Uma Thurman, Jeff Young.
I'm just gonna go with Foreigner, and I feel like they've done a decent job of. I mean, any band that's classic like this is gonna live forever, but you can also see them in like some of the more contemporary things, like the shows like The Boys and Stranger Things. They're in there, so yeah, it's a smart move, but it's when you're that popular, it's actually not surprising that you'd show up in more contemporary forms of media as well. But yeah, I mean, nothing else left to say about Foreigner. They're just Foreigner. They're good.
Foreigner. Jeff cried.
Doesn't feel like the first time they've been mentioned though.
No.
The very first one.
So my number 2 band is when they formed out of the ashes of not the ashes, but a lot of people that played with John Mayall's Blues Breakers. After a while, would leave and form a band, and that's what Mick Fleetwood and John McVie and Peter Green did, and released their first album in 1967. First couple albums were like great blues rock albums. Then Peter Green left, and they replaced him with Danny Kerwin, and then Danny Kerwin stayed, and they got Bob Welsh, and they made some California kind of records, with the California sound of the early 70s. And then Welsh and Kerwin leave, and classic Fleetwood Mac lineup, forms when they bring Stevie in and the brilliance of Lindsey Buckingham. And I was blessed enough to work a few of their albums. starting with Mirage and Tango in the Night, those two in particular. And every incarnation, except maybe when Stevie and Lindsay left and they replaced him with Rick Vito and Delaney and Bonnie's daughter, Becca. Um, they did one. There was one Fleetwood Mac album with that lineup. It wasn't a bad record, but it wasn't a great record. The Mac, the Mighty Fleetwood Mac, is my number two.
Well, they're not going to be on my list. All right. So I'll stun you.
No, you won't.
Glenn Hansard and his mates, essential Irish rock alternative band, slightly under the U2 moniker of where they might have been when they first started to gather enough moss and musicality in their hometown. It's an interesting mystery that they never got to where they were because Hansard's voice and songwriting is excellent. It's profound and it's very much indie as well. Obviously, we're not going to compare him to Bono in that sense, but there is a songwriting ability and a catch. But unfortunately, he's more Eastern Carney man maybe than the North American country rock Billboard thing that happened. But the album and song Fitzcarraldo is an amazing piece of songwriting and one of my favorite European indie rock songs of all time. We're talking about a comparison made to the futility of certain things, right? And if you don't know the story of Fitzcarraldo, Fitzcarraldo is the story of a person who wanted to have a land in Peru, but parcels were being sold off so fast that he could not get a parcel. But he was told of a parcel, but he would have to traverse the Amazon to get there. And that parcel of land is not in a position to just dock and that's your land. So he had to take a 320-ton steamship up a hill. And that's Fitzcarraldo. And this is The Frames, one of my favorite bands of all time. And if you do not know who they are, this is an Irish rock band that could have easily been the next U2, bar none. And once you hear it, you'll understand why. And of course, Glenn Hansard himself went on to win an Academy Award for once, and is in the band The Swell Season, as well as played with other artists, including he's in the backup band for Eddie Vedder, and I think he backed up Robert Plant as well on one of the tours. So quite the musician himself. Grateful Dude, number one.
Okay, my number one is a strange one. At least most of you will think so. Done by an artist who was born. He was born in 1937, and really didn't hit the top 40 market or whatever you want to call it till 1974 when he came out with this one song which in most people's consideration he's a one-hit wonder, but it's Freddie Fender, and the song is, if I decides to cooperate on me, Wasted Days and Wasted Nights.
When the last teardrop falls.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
1975. 74, 75, yeah.
But he was known to me because he played in the 80s every other week at the Palomino.
Okay.
Which was a club in the San Fernando Valley, which is quite well known. And for giving rock and other stars a free event. It was a great place. I miss it terribly.
He is in a band that is the staple of the most odd Mexican lordom of all time. The Texas Tornadoes. Okay?
I was just going to mention that.
If you are not like aware of this, you have heard this band, believe me, because what you're sitting there on Cinco de Mayo, let's say, and you're in this not so Mexican cuisine place, and you're hearing this song, and it's about avocados or making guacamole, or there's another song, it's about, I don't remember what the hell it was about, but it sounds like you're in Oktoberfest, but you're in a Mexican cantina. They do this glorified mix of German influenced accordion with Mexican, Texas Mexican styling, and it's fantastic. I am sure that there is no Mexican restaurant that's going to be playing that in there because it's probably sacrilege, but it's so fun. And Texas Tornadoes are a great band. I don't think he was part of it for the whole shebang, but
the first record, I worked that record.
You did? Okay, great.
And they played it. They played at Nietzsche's on that
sounds right.
On that first album.
Oh,
and
my God.
It was Freddie Fender actually took a back seat in that band to Doug Somm and Augie Myers, who were in Doug Somm's band from the 60s, the Sir Douglas Quintet.
Oh, okay, great.
And so that was a fun record.
Nice. And I got to hear him 15 times or so. I got to meet him twice because the Palomino was they had zero security, zero. But it was a great.
Did he have to duck to get his hair through the door when he? Man,
not,
that guy
not during the Texas Tornadoes show. But to see, legends like him and Doug Somm and Augie Myers play at Nietzsche's, it was bizarre. It was cool. It was cool.
That's awesome. I love that was your first pick. That's awesome. Alex, don't ruin it.
I know. I thought long and hard about number one. Actually, 3 bands crossed my head.
Number 1, aren't we still on 2?
No.
Well, 1.
I haven't done a 2.
Really?
No.
Oh, go ahead, Ray. Sorry. How did I?
I didn't even notice that.
You're out of order.
I am out of order.
Courtroom's out of order. Number 2, twice named by Rolling Stone magazine as the greatest singer of all time. Her roots were in Detroit, Michigan as well, although she'd be on a different record label. Once signed to Atlantic Records in 1966, the sky was the limit for this soulful singer. She charted 112 singles on the U.S. Billboard charts, including 73 Hot 100 entries, 17 top 10 pop singles, 96 R&B entries, and 20 number 1 R&B singles. When all was said and done, she definitely earned her RESPECT. She is the queen of soul. Aretha.
Amen.
For the first time I saw her sit down at a piano and play in an old clip. I've never seen her sit down at a piano. It was always her and the voice, and that was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't play beautiful piano. But yeah. Sorry about that. Okay, Alex.
So I had 3 bands cross my head, thinking about who to put at number 1. Chevy Metal, Dream Widow, or the DGs. Unfortunately, none of them started with that.
Yeah, that's right.
You just say I picked the
alter
freaking
egos
Bee Gees
of the Foo Fighters. Because everyone already knows about that band well enough and plenty, I'll go with something that will be expired for the viewers by the time this comes out, but is relevant for all of you. Go find the Foo Fighters social media from the past 2 days. Yesterday's stories have probably expired, but today's are probably still live. I believe it would be Dave Grohl, but I don't know who from the band did it. Hand wrote artwork, like Sharpie on a piece of paper, slipped it in a CD, and they've been releasing their new album in tidbits around LA in the flower beds outside of small record shops, hidden behind a binder in Staples, behind a coffee in a grocery store, or they hid one underneath a book in an IKEA fake living room in the IKEA. Like they've been slipping their album or CDs of just solo tracks or something all around LA. So
Nice.
it's been a fun little follow to watch them literally just holding the phone, taking the CD and like moving a bag of coffee, sliding it behind, putting it back, and then just walking away. So if you want a fun little watch, get lost down the rabbit hole. The Foo Fighters dropping their CD literally everywhere in LA.
Nice. I like it.
It's cool, it's old school, and it's fun. It's engaging with the social media too.
Yeah. They play it well. Young, number one.
Yeah, I went with Faith No More, and this band across their discography, you can pick out 10 songs and think you're listening to 10 different bands, but and every album really has at least one or two tracks that don't get played or you forget about, and then you go back to them like, oh yeah, this is a really good tune that I just never listened to. But yeah, just Faith No More I've always liked Faith No More. They're awesome, and their original works are just as eclectic as their covers. Their covers include like Black Sabbath, Bee Gees, Burt Bacharach. They did the theme to Midnight Cowboy. They've done the Commodores. So yeah, I mean, just great.
And they can do that because Patton can pull that off, man. He's just a vocal fool. All right. The number one over to Ray.
All right, number one. So we talked about this band at length on previous, album battle shows, list shows, whatever we've done. They've had several incarnations of the band. First starting off with one of the greatest blues guitar players of all time that morphed into different variations over the years. The majority of music fans definitely know their material from 1975 onward. Originally named after the drummer and the bassist, this band would take on two of history's finest female voices. In 1974, the drummer met the two people that would help change history for the band and for music altogether. They released one of the greatest albums of all time in 1977, which we talked about, quite a bit a month or so back. The album, of course, entitled Rumors. Mick Fleetwood and John Mac V were the namesakes, and the band is forever known as Fleetwood Mac, number one.
Well, and over to Jeff Crichton.
So when in late '69, early 1970, when Steve Marriott, the great late Steve Marriott, decided to leave the Small Faces and form Humble Pie with Peter Frampton, it left Ronnie Lane, Ian McLaughlin, and Kenny Jones thinking like, okay, what's next? At that same time, Jeff Beck was breaking up his first band that included a bass player named Ronnie Wood and a lead singer named Roderick Stewart. So the two of them wound up replacing Marriott. So Rod and Ronnie Wood, they joined the Small Faces, and after their first album with them called First Step, and they still kept the Small Faces name, but after that, the next three albums they dropped the small part and were the Faces, and boy, did they make some great records. And as it is, often on Rod's great solo records from the early '70s, Every Picture Tells a Story and Never a Dull Moment. Those two albums almost could have been Faces albums because a lot of the guys played on those records. But I wound up seeing them at the Odd in '74, and it was the only time I got to see them. But boy, they left a mark on the music world. So Faces are my number one band of the F's.
That's a good pick. All right, I'm going to regurgitate Jeff Young's number 5. I love Filter. Cleveland rocks, baby. Not that kind of rock, though. Yes, Mr. Patrick is an industrialist, but an industrialist in a different format. He was with Trent Reznor. Trent said to him, I think you should do your own thing. I think you got enough to do this. And he took his shot. Hey, man, nice shot, to be exact. And the rest was history. He is my number one F. Title of record is an amazing, accessible industrial record. Industrial records are very hard to be accessible. Nine Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral, is not an easy record to listen to by any stretch of the imagination. You have to be full on in Skinny Puppy, these kind of bands. I think that in actuality, that title of record album is better than Nine Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral, and what it accomplishes in crossing over into genres. And even though the material is rough that's being delivered, and yes, he is the brother of actor Robert Patrick, which is kind of cool. But it's been 8 albums since 1995. He has a tendency to do things in a slower standpoint. I've seen them live. His voice for the screaming is one of a kind. And he even makes fun of it in the ending of a record where he tries to do it and he chokes. So it's pretty comical to put that at the end of a record. But I was always appreciated his albums. I know it's pretty much him. Filter is him, but there's other artists that come in from time to time. But they are dark. There's no question. All right, honorable mention time. Let's start off with the Grateful Dude.
All my honorable mentions have been mentioned.
Okay. That would lead us to Alex.
This band could make my top 5 one day, as they are still young in their career, but I find them very impressive to date. Falling in Reverse.
Yeah.
The Fratellis, a very fun band. Mm-hmm. I thought that they were a flash in the pan when I heard Chelsea Dagger, and then I explored them more in their album and that it was on, especially. And they were a very unique sound that I thought was interesting. And then throwing them on there because got a few songs I like of theirs, and that's just about where they deserve to be, is just in the mentions, is Fuel.
Okay. And that was going to be where Daughtry was going to wind up, but that didn't happen. Yeah, Jeff Young? No, we did.
Yeah, I'd mentioned Free and Glenn Fry, but other than that, my F bands would be frickin' Metallica, frickin' Ozzy, frickin' AC/DC, you know.
All right.
Surprised we don't have a band named Frickin'.
Ray.
Yeah, most of them got mentioned. I mean, Free is definitely definitely one in there. Some that didn't get mentioned. Fifth Dimension was a kind of cool, groovy kind of band in the late 60s, early 70s. And then The Fix.
Ooh.
From the 80s. They had some real great songs. One thing leads to another. Couldn't get enough of that. Early MTV, Saved by Zero, some of the other stuff. And Dan Fogelberg.
Yep.
He's on my list.
Yeah.
Yep.
I believe we have 20 quick hitters coming from Mr. Crichton.
Yes.
We do.
Puck drop.
I got the Flying Burrito Brothers, of course.
Yep.
The Flaming Groovies, whose song "Shake Some Action" and their album "Teenage Head" from the later '70s are classic albums. They were produced by Dave Edmunds. So the Flaming Groovies, Firefall, who is Rick Roberts, who was in the later edition of the Burrito Brothers. After the Burrito Brothers broke up, he formed Firefall, and they had some nice soft rock songs in like the late '70s, early '80s. Surprisingly, nobody mentioned Peter Frampton. Frampton gets a bad rap.
That live album was all the rage, man.
And yeah, his live album's the biggest selling live album of all time. After that, he was getting destroyed by the press, and he made some, his manager made some bad decisions for him. But he's rebounded since then. He's like revered. He's a great guitar player. And so Frampton, I've got Roberta Flack, Ella Fitzgerald. And here's some Marianne Faithfull. And then I got some solo artists. Well, Steve Forbert, who had some nice records in the late '70s. And then you have guys like Donald Fagen, Brian Ferry, John Fogerty, Richie Furay, who are more famous in the bands that they were in. But they put out some nice solo records. And then, of course, and I'm surprised he wasn't mentioned by you, Mark, the great Bela Fleck.
So, Sue's 5. Number 5 was Five for Fighting. Somewhat grungy mid-90s, upbeat, positive, lighter songs. Superman, 100 Years, The Riddle.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Number 4, yeah, for her, Ella Fitzgerald was on the list for sure. Jazz queen, icon, legend, influence. Without Ella Fitzgerald, where would they be, right? Foreigner was her number 3. Younger, kind of in where that came in for us in the 80s. So then her number 2 is Fleetwood Mac, and her number 1.
No Foo Fighters? Oh, sorry.
Number 1 was the Foo Fighters, yes. Now, Steve Scouten, his number 5 was Free. He said that's a shout out to Ray. He had Foreigner at number 4. He had the Foos at number 3. He had Fleetwood Mac at number 2, and his number 1 was Aretha Franklin. He did have Frampton on his honorable mentions. Franz Ferdinand was on his 5-man acoustical jam, Flogging Molly, and he had Faith No More.
Oh, Flogging Molly.
Yes.
It was 5-man electrical band.
He also
product of the
named the Tesla album.
Yeah, Sue also honorable mention wise had Fray, and Fleet Foxes, and Fats Domino, but
he's a D.
Yeah, he's a D. Nobody mentioned the fine band from the late 70s, the Fabulous Poodles. I'm kind of surprised about that.
So my honorable mentions are 2, as always. I'll start with the first one that has been gathering enough steam, I believe, in their, well, I'll say their signature of expanding the art pop environment, pop rock, indie rock. I believe she has one of the most beautiful and disturbing voices right now in the entire arena of rock, and female as well. And that would be Florence and the Machine. A couple more years on this, and they could easily be in the top 5 for me, booting some other people out, because the ingenuity, the creativity, and things that are going on with her and her band and how they come to sound is progressive and moving forward, and not always the same in any way, shape, or form. And then one of the greatest progressive guitar players, the manifesto of one of the probably greatest prog bands of all time. He is art rock, he's progressive rock, he's post-progressive, he's ambient, he's experimental, he's jazz, he's played with all kinds of the greats. He cites Charlie Parker, Charlie Mingus. He knew that the guitar was going to be his thing, but the problem is the man is such a prick and a perfectionist that probably once you work with him, you're done. The great Robert Fripp.
Yes.
He's an amazing. I would be. It's sort of like if you saw that movie with the drummer that tortures the kid. That's how I picture Robert Fripp in the vein of people in the music industry that join him. Like, they can't wait, and then they're scared shitless when they're there. So he's an amazing person in rock history, and what a guitarist. So I will thank the panel for doing this tonight. Join us in 2 weeks where we get to the G. Gosh darn it, that'll be something, won't it? We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and that TikTok too, of course. But these will never be on TikTok because they're too long. We do videos. I'm supposed to do a podcast. We'll never get to that. But articles too. It's all about albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. So go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching. Happy listening.